I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you're looking for the best party in town, you need to follow SysEleven's crew. They had a DJ at their booth the other day, which just turned wild. It was easily the best thing at this conference. Yeah.
This is not a professional DJ, it's our head of sales.
It's the head of sales that was DJing. He did an incredible job. One of the reasons why I wanted to bring on SysEleven today for this interview is just their enthusiasm for putting out great products. They actually, together with Kubermatic, have developed their own, I would almost call it like a Kubernetes seed cluster that it functions as kind of a management cluster of other clusters, right?
That's right, exactly. That's what we are doing. And we call it MetaKube, so this is our brand for that. And fortunately, we have in the last 2 years we got a lot of experiences with customers on that, and also we did in the last 2 years lots of on top. So, for instance, we developed a new shared repository where we bring up open source tooling, which is curated to the customer that they can insert it in their pipeline. So that helps the customer to be sure that all the used tooling is enterprise graded and dependency free in terms of Kubernetes, in terms of Kubernetes versions.
That's cool.
This is very, very, has a big value for the customer.
Yeah. And say your last name for me. Is it Jens Plogsties? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. So Jens is the CTO of SysEleven. We're honored to have him here. Yeah. Let's get into MetaKube a little bit. I actually have taken some notes here. So I wanted to talk about MetaKube. Now, the viewers might not know this, but I was a former customer of SysEleven's.
Yeah, I know.
Two companies back. For a company called Family that makes childcare software. And I had a great experience with SysEleven. They have such knowledgeable engineers on their team. And this MetaKube product allows you to not only create spin up Kubernetes clusters very easily using the Terraform provider, which is managed by your team, but also allows you to you talked about these enterprise graded software that people can deploy to it. Are these the MetaKube building blocks?
It's a MetaKube building block.
Can you go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, we call it MetaKube building block. So when you imagine you have tons of CNCF tools like RabbitMQ, Valero, database operators, and so on. There's a really big jungle, yeah. So and when you pick up it from open source, you're not really sure it is running. It is scales out in a horizontal way. So this is always you're in doubts. And that was the reason why we sit down and thought about it. How can we bring up such tooling in an enterprise created value to the customer? And what we are sticking on the GitOps definition, and we developed a shared repository based on GitLab, and offer the customer to pick up curated tooling from this repository and put it in their CI/CD pipeline and deploy it on their own cluster, which is based on our MetaKube environment, on our infrastructure. So the customer doesn't take care about dependencies in direction of on vanilla Kubernetes, and also he doesn't take care about the dependency to each other. So it means RabbitMQ, Valero, and so on, different versions. You have a life cycle to consider, and we are testing this stuff. It is running together in a MetaKube cluster or not. If not, then we have to patch it, we have to change it, we have to reconfigure it, all this stuff.
So it's all maintenance free, rather than like deploying the Helm chart of Valero to your cluster. you get it bespoke, and it's all taken care of, maintained, upgraded for you.
Yeah, it's based on YAML. So, and YAML makes the customer happy because it's simple to understand.
Right.
It's simple to handle. So, he have the flexibility to use it. He can decide it by them own self. So it's not forced by us. Yeah. So it's his decision to use it or not. He can also, using older versions or different configuration YAMLs, templates, for that, he can customize this configuration templates. So that's free. So this flexibility is very important for the customer because normally he has no really good experience with the application, how they run on a cluster in Kubernetes, how the microservices work to each other. So he needs the flexibility to reconfigure stuff, and we offer this. So, and he don't have to call us; he can do it by himself. So, and that's the story, and it helps a lot.
Oh, wow, great, fantastic. You have a new MetaKube operator, actually. Maybe you could go into a little bit of detail on what the MetaKube operator does. It's fairly new, no?
It's fairly new. So the MetaKube operator is the definition on the customer give us the 100% responsibility. So when the customer had no fun to deploy their own stuff, they bring up workload from an on-premise environment to us, or he don't want to operate this, or to maintain this, to consider the life cycle or something. Then he can use MetaKube operator, he can book this, and he gets people which helps him to ramp up the knowledge that they can use our building blocks, our MetaKube accelerator building blocks, for their own purpose, and until he can do it by themselves, we are part of the game. Yeah. So.
Okay, so the MetaKube operator sort of places the responsibility of provisioning these resources, maintaining these resources on SysEleven, whereas the building blocks really puts the burden of support or let's say maintenance on the customer. So it just depends on what sort of level of burden of maintenance and support they want.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the idea behind. In the past, we had a lot of customers or potential customers. They have a huge on-premise environment. So, and they want to go in a cloud. They want to use Kubernetes. They want to use microservices. They separate their applications in microservices so that they can spawn it in containers. But they have no idea how Kubernetes is working, how a cloud is working, because they were running on an on-premise environment. And that's the reason why we help them. And this first deployment, this first architecture, this is really a hard step for the customer. And we are part of this. We have solution architects. They will support them. They will help them until they know it by themselves. They can do it by themselves.
Mm-hmm. So if a customer also is, perhaps somebody is coming from another data center, another company, and they don't even know Kubernetes, actually that's something that you that you provide a level of support where you can even onboard them onto Kubernetes.
Yeah, we can. Exactly, we help them to onboard on Kubernetes. Also, lift and shift is not a linear stuff. Yeah, so we have also to. In normal cases, you have to rebuild your clusters or your architecture. And this is that's what we are taking care for, and the building blocks only. The customer can use it in a self-service, but if they don't fund or not have the right capacity for that, the right resources, then we can take it over. That we are doing the service for the customer as well. This is MetaKube operator, and the customer can book this. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Something that I thought was cool when, cool in general is just how much SysEleven relies on and supports, is built on top of open source technologies, such as OpenStack. Actually, SysEleven, when you go to create a cluster or you go to, SysEleven gives you the option of choosing a larger cloud such as AWS. What are the full sort of list of other clouds that you support?
Yeah, we support AWS and Azure as well. So we have a cloud provider for that. So that means you can spawn with MetaKube, with our orchestration platform, with our Terraform provider. You can spawn clusters on AWS or on Azure. That works very good and very well. What we are currently working for is to find a solution where the customer can separate the workload in two different sections. So maybe you have more sensitive workload, which has hard compliance requirements.
For GDPR reasons, for
exactly, GDPR reasons. He can decide to put this workload on our infrastructure because we have German data centers and which are certified. And for not so hard restricted data, we can use AWS or Azure and bring both worlds together in one orchestration layer. This is what we are currently working for, and I hope we can release it very soon.
So yeah, so it would this upcoming feature really allows you to have a very easy multi-cloud experience without all of the headache that so many companies often take on trying to go multi-cloud. With the upcoming feature, you can very easily spawn some pods in the OpenStack, your own data centers in Germany. For those GDPR sensitive workloads, but then you can also have your workloads on AWS and Azure if you want.
And that's in one project, yeah. So we can, for sure, the customer can use it today he can use it today, but he has to separate the projects for that. So and this is very uncomfortable, yeah, because I would like to have functionality only once and not in both projects. So. And to bring these worlds together in one project, that's what we are working for currently. So this is a very interesting topic. Yeah.
Would you say this this feature sounds so cool? Is that next quarter?
Oh no, next quarter, that's too short. So I hope this year. Yeah.
Hopefully this year you'll be able to run your workloads easily across all sorts of clouds, including the very own of SysEleven. I wanted to talk a little bit about, and this is pretty exciting news. I think it actually happened during KubeCon, where the pen was put to the paper. I had to check with their marketing team if it was okay to actually let this be known on a live stream. But SysEleven has just been acquired. Is that correct, by SecuNet?
That's really, yeah, that's the case, and we are really happy about it. So yeah, that's new since Tuesday. And yeah, so, and we'll see what's going on there, yeah? So together with this really big knowledge, with this experience in terms of security and on-premise environment, so we hope that we get a really big push in the market. So I cannot say so much in detail because now we started the journey, and now we have to think about how can we do these things together and bring the synergies on the road.
Yeah.
It's more. I cannot say more now.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a great talk, and I'm really exciting to see the direction of MetaKube within this year, and also the building blocks and the operator which were recently launched. That just make it really easy for customers to get their software deployed in an enterprise compliant way. You know, it's been vetted by the SysEleven team. So you know, if someone is interested in getting started with SysEleven, where would you recommend they go to, or how should they reach out?
First of all, you have to look on our homepage, www.syseleven.de, and on the homepage you will find the right contacts. You will easily get contact to a salesperson. We have a very technical sales, so there's deep insight to the technical environment and can explain a lot. Also, we have some pre-sales guys which have a very deep, can do a very deep dive in the customer existing system. So to support him from the first line, what is necessary, what is not necessary, so we can design the system easily, so that he can really get a tailored offering, which is exactly that what the customer needs.
Yeah, I can personally attest to that. I know both pre-sales Sasha and sales Felix. They're incredibly knowledgeable, incredibly passionate members of the SysEleven team.